Okay, so this is the national test, part A for English 5. I am Cassandra from NA 17EB, and I'm here with
Emelie Sandberg Krakow
and
Erik.
And we're going to talk about skills for life.
So the practical skill that I want to talk about is dancing, and my dad was a dancer, so he was the one who encouraged me to start dancing when I was about 7 years old, and so I started street dancing. And in the beginning I was quite little, so I didn't think about the dancing as much as I did hanging out with the other kids in the group. But today I really enjoy dancing as much, but probably in a different way. And I had lots of people in my class who was in my dance group, so then I could practice with them in school, and I would also perform in front of my parents after every dance class, which is how I practiced. But then, when I was about 9, I broke my leg ice skating, and then I couldn't dance for a really long time, which got me down, and I was quite sad just looking at all the other people dancing. But then it got better again, and I could start dancing again, and everything was fine. Okay, what about you, Cassandra?
So the skill that I've chosen to talk about is photography. And about 3 years ago, I picked up my dad's old DSLR because I wanted to see if these big, bulky cameras were really better than the small ones. And I sort of fell in love very quickly. Obviously, when I started photographing, my photographs didn't turn out that great, partly because the camera was 20 years old. And partly because I had no idea how to produce a good photograph. But I practiced, and I tried the different settings, and I experimented, and eventually I learned how to photograph. And so yeah, that's sort of my story about photography. What about you, Erik?
Well, as a young kid, I developed computer skills since my dad was worked with computers a lot in the office. He was sort of a role model to me, so seeing him always typing and doing his complicated things that I still to this day don't even understand what he's doing, just seemed very cool. I didn't know what he was doing, but I just knew I wanted to do it. So I started trying to type, a very basic skill, but as I was a young kid, I thought it was really hard, and it felt very hopeless. But seeing my dad being able to type so fast was very motivating to me. So he sort of helped me learn how to type. And then when I got to school, we had computer skills, which also helped, since they constantly tried to make us type faster and find the letters more naturally. So at first it was sort of hard to type, but then after a while I started getting better at it, and I started doing it more naturally.
Okay, great. So why do you think that typing is an important or useful skill?
Well, it's sort of used everywhere, since we live in such a technology-based society.
Yeah, with phones, computers, you use it probably every day.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
So
when all workplaces, I would say.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially at school.
Yeah. And what about photography?
So I think the main thing that photography's done for me is it changes the way that I look at the world around me, because details sort of pop out at me more, and I see the beauty of the things that surround me in a different way. I see how I can produce a good photograph out of it, and that sort of makes it easier for me to appreciate everyday life.
And photography is not something that will go out of style or become too old. It's probably always going to be relevant, and it's a legit occupation.
Yeah, so I've been able to work with it for the last 2 years, and making money out of that, whilst also being in charge of my own schedule, has been amazing. But also being able to commemorate the moments that matter to me and my family is something that I appreciate being able to look back on, and it's something that my family also appreciates.
That's not something that's going to disappear.
No, and neither is dancing. I mean, it's been here It's been a part of society for a really long time.
Yeah, it definitely has. Well, it's an art form just like photography, and it might not be something that I think of pursuing, like photography, but it has definitely made me more confident, and I think that all people who dance become more secure with themselves, and I think that is a useful skill because there are so many occasions that you're going to be through in life where dancing can be a great thing to have, to know how to.
Yeah, and it probably helps you socialize with new people as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes you feel less awkward as well.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, so both photography and dancing might not be the most helpful skill. Like in every day when you're in school, it still has a
value.
It has a value, exactly.
And typing is more sort of practical of a skill.
Yeah.
Our interests are more of an art form.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think typing is quite it's a small skill, but it's something you don't think about that much because you use it so much. While dancing and photography, as you said, are more they're larger fields, they're occupations themselves actually.
So now we're going to move on from these hobbies to skills that humans have and sort of how you get through everyday life in a different sense. I think that living in the democratic society that we live in today, it's important that everyone has a certain logical way of thinking because the decisions that you make affects not only you but also everyone else. And the people that you vote for, as well as the decisions that you make in everyday life, has a big impact on your community. And so therefore it is important to make the decisions that are the best for everyone, not what someone else tells you to. And also I think that being able to take the initiative to sort of grab new opportunities and learn new things is how you develop. So how do you think that people could learn these skills?
I think logical thinking will be most